Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terrence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited and turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the simplest sports fantasy game on the market. You can pick from multiple platforms. And get this, sign up using the code ASU and Prize Picks will 100% match your initial offer up to $100. Download the app for free at the Google Play Store or the App Store. Well, T, sometimes I try to come up with a creative opening or something, but we're at this point of the season where I'm just lost for words.
Mhm.
Honestly, it's just it almost becomes aggravating to have to talk about these things and write about it and talk about it. But as we all know, the Atlanta Falcons did lose this past weekend up in Charlotte. A devastating game that pretty much has them on the outside looking in. Looks very doubtful, and questions all around this franchise now loom on what the future may hold. Where do you want to begin at today?
Let me loosen my collar up a little bit. There's a saying in coaching that and for players is that before you react to something, give it 24 hours.
Mhm.
And that's like a cooling off period. We built pretty much had 48 hours since the loss. And like everyone else, I was frustrated. It was devastating, unbelievable how you lost this game whatsoever. And and then after a cooling off period, you have to sit back and think, because I know a lot of folks is calling for Arthur Smith head, and they got what they want. Ritter's getting benched this week for Heineke. So here's the thing. One thing I'm gonna say: Arthur Smith is not getting fired anytime soon. When there's a glimmer of hope of this team making the playoff, Mr. Blank is gonna hold on to that glimmer of hope.
Mhm.
And like I said, the worst thing for this franchise, for this organization, this football team is that you are on the outside looking in. You got to win 3 in a row and hope others lose. And that's the worst way to finish the season. And you wouldn't have been there if you'd won the 2 games you should have won. You probably would have been playoff. It'd probably been an X and said playoff blank, because you probably would have sold up the division by now with one division game to go. So we can all be upset and call for his head. We can talk about the Staley case. We can talk about this. We can talk about that. But here's the thing. As long as there's hope, he's not going to get fired. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the season. I don't know. A lot of people speculate that he will be here next year. But here's the thing. Let's go back. I want you guys to go back 3 years ago. They had already told us this was going to happen, and that Mitch McKay and Mr. Blank was going to give Arthur Smith time and find no time.
Mhm.
One, you let go Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. You get rid of those. You get rid of Deion Jones. You get rid of some heavy cap casualties, those people that's holding cap value. Get rid of those. You were in the cellar, in the dungeon, in cap salary hell.
Right.
And you kept saying, give us a couple of years to get out of this. We're going to spend some money. Give us a chance. We're going to build this team whatsoever. And then in a few years, we should be competitive and making strong divisional championships and playoff runs. They told us this 3 years ago.
Right.
So what are you? I don't understand. What are we expecting? Of course, when we see a defense that's playing lights out, and we see all this talent on the offensive side of the ball, and we got a good, nucleus of offensive linemen, and there's a lot of hope. But you got to understand, this is a young football team with not a lot of championship pedigree on it. This is a young coaching staff that is his first time being a head football coach, and he is taking lumps just like the players are. Now, one thing I'm not going to excuse him with is the same old from week 1 of 3 years ago. And
Right.
nothing's changed. We haven't learned from our mistakes. We haven't developed the offensive scheme. There hasn't been a development of players where to the point that we going, okay, we can see the steady climb. Pitts was Pro Bowl to his rookie year to everybody's talking about Kyle Pitts, and all of a sudden he's never developed step by year to be that great dominant tight end wide receiver that we thought he was going to be. Drake London is showing signs of flashes of in games. He'll have a great game, and then they make him disappear for 2 or 3 games. I don't get that. And Bijan Robinson the same way. And you got to understand now, we arguably probably have the rookie of the year candidate on offense in the building. So but it's still, let me tell you why it's inexcusable. So I had to go and Google the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff, and I went on the offensive side of the ball, and nothing said. You had head coach, you had Dave Ragone, offensive coordinator. Usually it's offensive coordinator / quarterback coach. So I kept going up and down, up and down, up and down. I think they got 3 offensive line coaches. There's no quarterback coach. Am I missing something?
Well, we have him. He just doesn't coach the quarterbacks, but yeah.
And so, and then you bring Matt Schaub on as an analyst, but is he coaching and tutoring the quarterback? Because he played well in the league for a number of years. So I look at that and I go, well, there's no quarterback sort of gurus on the coaching staff. So how are your quarterbacks going to get better? How are they going to get better? I don't know. How are they going to get better? And it was interesting how we talk all the time, and I say, I seen a problem a year ago when I said, if you look at a game, why isn't the offensive coordinator / head coach interacting with the players when they come off the field? Why aren't the players interacting with him? Why aren't the coaches going to him whatsoever? And I said, that's an issue. I said, that's an issue. The issue is probably we can't communicate with him, or I don't want to communicate with you. And that's a big problem when you're the offensive coordinator and a head football coach, because if you can't get on the same page with your players, you're not gonna do well offensively at all. And I just, for the life of me, I just can't understand the same old plays each and every week. And then, we think we're not running the ball extremely well the whole game. 3 third downs of 4 and more, we run the football. Hit in the backfield, 4th down. I'm going, what are we thinking? I'm like, what are we thinking? And I just, you know what that tells me? I don't have confidence in my quarterback to make a play in this situation. So you can tell the way the game is being coached, how the plays are being called, that you're being very cautious with mittens on with your quarterback because you don't want him to make a mistake, especially in the rain. That's what you're doing. And listen to me, I'm not judging anyone because God didn't give me a chair and say, sit next to me and say, hey, I give you all authority to judge. I'm not judging. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about and what I see. I'm not talking about somebody's a bad coach. I'm not saying, this. I'm just saying situations are bad. Things are going bad. Calls are bad. Execution is bad. Communication is bad. And I keep, if you can't communicate offensively, I'm watching this defense. Every time they make a play, they having a ball. Dirty Burden having a ball, smile and laugh and hitting each other on the head. When we make a play offensively, they get up and walk back to the huddle. But you know where that comes from? You are who coaches you. You are who coaches you. Defensive side of the ball, Nilsson is high-fiving, jumping up and down. Jerry Gray, Steven Jackson, all those guys are up and down and having a good time. So the players are the same way. Offensive side of the ball, only person I see on the offensive side, offense is the head coach coordinator. Where's the running back coach? Where's the offensive line coach? We never see them interacting with their players. And we don't see the players excited about going out there. They jog out there like, here we go again. Maybe it worked, maybe it don't. Defense flies out there like, hey, I'm gonna make a play. I'm gonna make a play. And you're a product of who coaches you. I'm sorry. And that's not judging anybody. That's just nature. You know, once you create a culture and you want the culture, it is what it is.
Right.
And you can't help yourself. Now we can go now we're about to transition. Now you says, well, yeah, everybody keeps saying firing, you know.
Well, let me ask you this, T.
Okay.
Because so then what do we do if we don't move on from him? So we go ahead in next year and then now we go like, all right, now we got to get us a quarterback because we thought that's what they did, or at least Arthur did. With Ritter, first it was Mariota, he's my guy. Now it seems like Ritter's his guy, and either one can actually do the job in his system. I don't know if they can do it in any other system, but right now in his system. So, and I get it because of course everybody's going to yell to that to get rid of them because it's like with anything, it's a business. It's a business,
right.
And as you see, it gets less and less in the stadium,
Right.
and more people are talking about not going this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and how can it get better? What can this business do to get better?
And on that, this is a performance-based business. If you don't perform, I got to find somebody that is, and we'll do that. That's the nature of this business. Player-wise, coaches-wise, GM-wise, president-wise, whoever it is. This is a performance-based business. And if you're not performing, I have to find somebody that does. That's even with the players. This is a performance-based business. If you're not performing to the level that I need you to perform, I'm gonna have to sit you down and then eventually release you. Now, in the case of Arthur Smith saying Mariota's my guy, Ritter's my guy. So if we go on and we stay with Arthur Smith and you said we got to go get a quarterback, who are you gonna go get? I don't right now for what I see, and I'm not judging. I'm just talking about for what I see of what we're doing right now. I'm not even talking about next year or the year. I'm talking about what we're doing right now. Who could we input at the quarterback position right now in what we do offensively and be successful?
And my answer would be, I would think any kind of serviceable quarterback that can manage the game. But again, it comes back to the system. I feel like it comes back to that again. Like we would have to have somebody probably with a unique skill set that could overlook the flaws in the system, so
Well,
to speak.
I think the system over the last 2 years has been formed to the quarterback that is not a natural passer. The system has is designed to help the quarterback not lose games. Does that make sense?
It does.
You don't have this sophisticated system, which is you don't have to be sophisticated, but wide open enough where your quarterback would make the correct reads and put the protection in the right place and all that stuff. This system is based on I'm gonna stay to one side, I'm gonna flood all the players to one side, and who's ever open on that side, that's what I'm throw it to. That's it takes out the guessing game of the quarterback,
Yeah.
and it has hampered the last two quarterbacks. So the system, the quarterback that you bring in here, if that's what you're going to do, has to have the IQ and the knowledge enough to survey the football field, to understand exactly what this passing scheme and what I am supposed to do in this system. Okay, whatever system it's going to be. Now, we've heard over the last 24 hours, Justin Fields, Justin Fields, Justin Fields, Justin Fields. I got inbox about please talk about, inputting getting Justin Fields in a trade or something like that. And I didn't respond to it because here's the thing. Do y'all not understand? We had a chance to draft this kid
They
at
did.
number 8, and we did not. So he wasn't highly considered on the Atlanta Falcons draft board on draft day. So what changes 2 years later? So all of a sudden now we love this kid. No, I'm Justin Fields. I'm going, why would I want to play? Why would I want to come there? You had a chance to draft me and you didn't think I was good enough to play for you the first time. So all of a sudden now you need me and you want me to come play for you. Oh, it's going to cost you. And I'm not saying it won't happen, but you got to look at it. We didn't think Justin Fields was good enough to be the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm talking about management. Am I correct?
Right.
We didn't think he was good enough. So all of a sudden, you want this organization who thought a quarterback wasn't good enough for the franchise to go get him? It's not going to happen, because now you got to admit that I was wrong. And that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. I'm sorry.
So okay. So on that caveat though, and
Right.
in the Justin Fields talk, I could really care less right now. I feel like we still have bigger things, but in that aspect of the Justin Fields talk, what if it's because they bring in someone else? So they're like, well, yeah, that guy didn't want him, but this new coach may.
Well, here's the thing, and there's been some names thrown out there, blah blah blah. Some good offensive guys, some offensive minded guys. Be careful what you ask for. Arthur Smith, you said, oh, he was at Tennessee. They've been in the playoffs. Offense was good. Running game was great. But be careful. I would rather have a leader of men than a great offensive coach, because you can have a decent offensive coach because the players make the offense.
Right.
And if you put them in the right situations, they're going to be successful because they're professional. But I want my head coach to be leader of men. I want to be able to, where my head coach, every day he see me, he happy to see me, high five on the sidelines. I make a good play or a bad play, he gonna still tap me on the helmet whatsoever and keep encouraging me. I want a leader of men. I want that. When we lose and things don't go right at the end of the press conference, I want my leader to say, hey, that's on me. It ain't Ritter. It ain't this. It ain't the turnover. That's on me. I have to get better. I have to find a way to help this team win football games. Can't worry, because at the end of the day, we as coaches put the players in position to try to be successful.
Right.
And if it doesn't work, guess what? Maybe you got the wrong players, or maybe the system just don't work. But at some point, you got to stand up and say, it's on me. It's on me.
And 100% on that. That's a lot of, at first was, mentioned Bijan, his fumble. And then of course it was mentioned the Ritter, the interception at the end, which was very costly. Yes. I got some flack on Twitter, but I mean, I stand by what I said, because I was just saying that why would you put him in a position like that late in the game? And people are like, oh my God, he's an NFL quarterback. What do you expect him not to do? He's here. Well, I understand that wholeheartedly, but I also understand that we're so far into it now that what are we going to do? We don't have another quarterback to play.
Right.
So if we know, as you said earlier, but if we know he's limited, all I expected to see is, like you said, some communication. I expect to see a leader of men. I expect him to, hey, this last drive, let's all go down the field. Let's make smart plays. We're just trying to win the game, get a field goal or a touchdown. Let's put this game away. Do not turn it over. If you have to call a timeout to bring him back to the sideline. So I felt like that's just a travesty. Yes, that interception was Ritter's fault. It was a horrible throw. But the leader of this team, who is the head coach, I feel like did not put him in the best position. We were at the 7 something minutes left in the game. We're right in the goal line. Algier had been running a lot better of late in that drive. You know, that it's a rainy
You
game. We've seen the turnovers in the red zone.
yeah, you preaching. You
I
preaching. Let
mean,
me tell you why you preaching, because here's the thing. You remember when I text you and I kept saying, why are we play actioning with the quarterback back to the defense?
goodness, yes.
Remember when I told you say that? Remember I was text you? I said, why are we doing that? I said, it's gonna come back and bite us. So we go play action, roll out, defensive end is untouched. He makes the defensive end miss. He rolls out. I'm gonna dissect the play for you. There was three players in the area.
Hmm.
Um, I think it was Cordell Patterson was on the sideline. I don't know who was the furthest in the end zone, but then Drake started coming back and he seen the traffic and stopped as he was going in motion with the ball. He stopped and I go, oh no. But to your point, hey, I'm on the headsets with my quarterback.
Hmm.
Take care of the ball here. If it's not there, I don't care if you take a sack, throw it away, run out of bounds,
Run it.
whatever it is. We kick a field goal, they're going to have to score a touchdown to beat us. Don't turn the ball over. Be careful with the football. That's the last words he's going to hear from me. So obviously that wasn't communicated,
That's
or he was like, I ain't listening.
exactly. That's what
One
I'm.
of the two. One of the two. So, and I'm going, wow. I'm like, even, I mean, you have to tell that to your quarterback. I don't care if he's a 14-year, two-time Super Bowl champion, MVP. You still tell him, hey, be careful with the ball here.
Right.
Don't turn it over. Let's get the points. I don't know if that was said to him.
The worst thing that all pro QB could say is, I already know, coach.
Yeah.
Okay, good. But at least I told you and we're on the same page.
Because what he's gonna do is gonna go like this. He's gonna do thumbs up to him. He's gonna say, I got you, coach. And then he's gonna say, break. And he's gonna do that. I never seen this.
See, exactly.
When they broke the huddle.
And back to the scheme and the coaching. I don't know if Arthur just likes numbers, if he's like a lottery guy, but number 8 only had 8 touches. What is that? What is that? What is that? Bijan Robinson, number 8 overall pick. Yeah, he had a fumble and it was a costly one, but give the kid more touches than 8 touches in the game. It
Well,
is they started the game with Algier and CP running it,
yeah.
and he almost feel like, why aren't we doing this again? I'd watch them come in on a 3rd down. It's like I don't get it. Are they worried about his hands? Are they still trying to coddle him? What is going on? But way Bijan talks, he's ready to go. He
Well,
seems like he's ready to go.
here's the thing. Stuff like this is going to happen when you try to make everybody happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got 3 good running backs and you're trying to make everybody happy. This is what happens. This is what happens with a team that in an era where it's about me touches. I
And
don't
you
get
said
touches.
that though at the beginning of the
I
year.
did.
You
I
said
did.
that it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a problem in
Yep.
this running back room with 3
Yep.
guys. They're going to want
Yep.
the equal touches. They're
Yep.
going to want it.
And it's going to be like, I don't care about, this and that. I want my touches because I want to prove that I can play and I want to be on the field whatsoever. And when guys don't feel like they want it or need it, then they're gonna say at the end of the year, hey, I want out. That's how it becomes. So here's the thing. You can't worry about that right now. You shouldn't have worried about that 2 weeks ago when you had a chance to almost solidify a playoff position.
Yeah.
You got to do what's like coaches say, and like when the quarterback position changed with Ritter and Heineke, you got to do what's best for this football team. You got to do what's best for this football team. And whoever gets upset, hey, I thought we were a team and it was all about winning.
Mm-hmm.
Any means necessary. Okay, you wasn't in the picture this game or whatsoever. He got 24 carries and we won the game. Aren't you happy for him? Or is it like I just want my touches? But here's the thing. I'm not mad at you if you come to me and say, "Hey, I want touches," because that means you want to play.
Right.
But at sometimes we're gonna have to sit back and say, "Okay, I gotta, it is what it is for now," and move and keep going. And I'm not saying that is happening, but what I'm saying, when sometimes as a coach, you do make that mistake and say, "I got to make them happy." And then as you making the running backs happy, your tight ends and your receivers are going, "What about me?"
Mm-hmm.
Drake London shaking his head like, "I just caught 10 balls the week before, and I've got what, 2 targets the whole game." I'm
Yeah.
like, it's amazing to me. But there's not. If Here's the thing: if you're trying to make everybody happy, go fast, get more plays, because you're averaging 60 something plays a game. That's not enough balls for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be in that 75 to 80 range. Speed the game up so everybody can get their touches. You never know what's going to happen. It seems like when we play with a sense of urgency, which we do not do enough of, we're successful.
Mm-hmm.
When we get the ball, make 3 or 4 yards, get back up, get in and out the huddle like this, and
Right.
back at the line of scrimmage, and we're moving the ball. There's some continuity, there's some consistency going. Everybody's in a groove. Then all of a sudden, we just put on the brakes. Skirt.
And I think it's because there's no thinking going on. Guys are just playing. The
Yeah.
coach is letting them play
Mhm,
because the plays are coming in quicker.
mhm,
But when they're sitting there and Arthur's looking, he's
yeah,
got time to figure out one of his great
mhm,
play
mhm,
calls.
mhm.
Hey, and granted, it was a touchdown, but I don't know why my number 8 running back is blocking for my third string or second string running back. Like, if injuries do happen, I get that. But if he
Right,
goes down blocking for another running back running in, he's not a fullback. What are we
right.
doing?
Tricking is a trick play. Let's
It
fool them.
is.
Let's fool them.
They
That's what
they
it is.
they fooled him, and I
Yeah,
guess they couldn't go back to it, or
yeah,
another trick play wasn't in the bag, because that
yeah.
was the only time we reached the end zone the entire game,
Right,
and we were playing the worst teams in the NFL
right.
and cannot get wins.
Yeah. It's funny because last week after we did the show, just if it, on somebody commented like, said, "You guys act, y'all talk like Ritter's a Pro Bowl player. He's trash, and you talk like Arthur Blank has won. I'm not Arthur Blank. Arthur
Arthur
Smith has
Smith.
won championships, and y'all not telling the truth and this and that." And to that person,
I don't know what show they listening to.
let me tell you, this show is not about dogging people.
Mhm.
We're trying to find solutions and try to find answers for this team to be better. And I'm trying to give you things that I see that you may not see. My job here is not to tell how terrible somebody is and how sorry somebody is, because I wouldn't want nobody to talk to me like that and talk
Mhm.
about me like that. But I do like constructive criticism to tell me, "Hey, you should be doing this, or I see this and I see that. Maybe this will help you." That's that's what coaches do. That's what players do with each other. We hold each other accountable. And this is what William and I are doing. We're not here to say fire Arthur Smith or bench this guy, or that's not our job. Our job is to inform, to give you something different. And that's what our job is. If you want to go ahead and tell how sorry people is, get you a YouTube show and do it all you want.
Mhm.
But this ain't what this show is about. And if
Right.
this is what you want from this show, you need to change your channel.
Right on. Yeah. The frustration from the fans and the media, like, it's
Mhm.
going to come out, and it has come out, and just because, like you said, we might not just straight up bash
Right,
whomever, doesn't mean we're not disappointed, because believe me, we
right.
are.
We are.
Um, like I said, it's 20 years that I've been going to games and paying my money, have not missed a single game in
Wow.
20 years, home game.
Wow.
Been to multiple road games, went to the Super
Wow.
Bowl, watched them lose, went to Philadelphia in 2017, was in
Wow.
Carolina last week in the rain.
Wow.
So if anybody is a former player, he can let
Mhm.
them have it, and myself, and I feel like other fans is like, but there's a lot of people that are just be blurting out stuff and
Mhm.
going off of, and I get it. You get in your feelings, and we want to have a playoff team,
Yeah,
but I honestly believe though that the things will work itself out.
yeah,
This whole Heineke play at
yeah.
the end of the year. What is that? What do you feel like that is to you? Is that we're trying to salvage
I
the season or salvage jobs?
it's jobs are on the line.
Okay.
Jobs are on the line. I have to save the season, one, and I have to salvage some jobs,
Hmm.
mine included. Point blank.
Right.
I'm just telling you, that's the way it is. Don't think for 1 minute that you meet and you think about it and say to yourself, I got to save my job. Don't think players are saying, oh my God, I got to save my job. Don't come on now. When you lose like that, there's always going to be some turnover. If you don't make the playoffs whatsoever, and you don't have a winning season, there's going to be some turnover. So these next 3 games are important for everybody involved. Everyone, coaching staff, players, everybody involved. Because the the eyes are on you now. They're looking. They're looking. Have you given up,
Right.
or are you trying to win? That's what they're looking at. Are you part? Are you still vested into this organization or not? And that's what they're looking at. That's what management is looking at right now, the next 3 weeks. So jobs are on the line. So you got to do things necessary to save your job.
And as sad as the season has been, and again, it's trending to be worse out of all three of his years. This is
Right.
trending to be the worst one with all the cap. They
Right.
are still not mathematically out of it.
No,
So,
not at all.
believe it or not, the Falcons still have a slim chance. And
Yep.
they've actually said that Vegas has the Falcons a 1 point favorite this week since they named Heineke the starter. If
Right.
that tells you
Maybe
anything.
anything. Wow. Yeah. I mean, you playing a tough team. The Colts have been playing well lately,
Well,
and they're trying to make a statement to get in the playoffs and be in the playoffs. So right now, starting Sunday, your playoff starts Sunday. Playoffs for this Atlanta Falcons team starts on Sunday. And, ooh, and it's gonna be a long playoff season because you got to win 3, and hopefully you're in the playoffs, and then you got to continue to play on. So your playoffs start Sunday.
yeah, and it's like you said, it doesn't get any easier with the teams we still have left to play. Colts, then we go up to Chicago in the cold on New Year's Eve, and then into New Orleans. So this is the last Falcons home game. I'll be honest, it looked bad at that Tampa game, so I don't expect it to be a lot of people. It's Christmas Eve, and then
Yes.
how the team has been playing.
Mhm.
There's going to
Mhm.
probably be some upset people in the building.
Right.
Now, one thing I will say is back to that system real quick. The Falcons aren't the only ones playing with a backups QB this year.
Right.
There's almost half the league. There's so
Yes.
many backups, but they are
Yes.
performing very well.
Yep. Mhm.
So it just comes back to me what the system is, and I hope it can improve.
Right.
I don't know what that entails long term for the regime, um, but overall, I feel like something has to change. Now, and I also wanted to say that people want to try to lump in Arthur and Terry, and I get that, but my only thing is Terry didn't pick Arthur Smith.
No.
So I feel like Terry at least deserves the benefit of the doubt. If they decide to part ways with Arthur Smith, he deserves the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
See what he can do with a guy
Yes.
he helps pick.
Yes. Yeah, you can't put this on Fontenot. You can't put it all on Fontenot, because as a general manager and as a pro staff scouting department, you sit down with your coaching staff and you look at the board and you say, what do you need?
Hmm.
Where's our deficiencies? What do we need? And then you go out and you do your homework whatsoever, and the coaching staff is the ones that has to convince the GM to say, hey, he fits my system and I need this guy, and this is why I need this guy. And at the end of the day, yeah, the GM goes, okay, you know and that's where it happens. You pick and you go in free agency and get what the coaches want. So, and then because you believe the coach when he says to you that I need this guy to fit my system for us to be successful. You know, sometimes the GM will say, no, I'd rather have this guy. And then you compromise somewhere, somehow.
Right.
So, this is not all on Fontenot. Like you said, he was hired after Arthur Smith was the head football coach.
Go on and give us some positivity to end this show.
Oh, give you some positivity. All right, here we go. First, I'm gonna start with this. It may not be so positive. When man gives you a title, for instance, Pro Football Hall of Famer, College Football Hall of Famer, you wear a yellow jacket, whatsoever, head coach, CEO, GM, captain, whatsoever. When man MVP, whatsoever, that's a title that man gives you. And so what bothers me, or you on CBS, SEC network, or whatever it is, and you sit there and you're talking heads and everybody's adoring you. Oh, I see you on TV and I see you doing this. And
Right.
this man gave that to you. Man gave you that title. And then there's men out there that's uplifting you like you're great. And so now you're looking down on others and you won't, when people call you, you won't take calls, or when you see people, you kind of like shun them off because you feel that you have arrived and become something that man said you are. I want what God gives me because I know that's lasting. I know that's powerful. And I know, because when God is giving you something, when God is giving you a title or giving you a position, it's from God, because guess what happens? People don't want to be around you because your spirit convicts them. Your identity and what you believe in convicts them. And don't be afraid of that. When you say, why this person don't call? Why this person? He used to be my boy. That used to be my girl, this and that. They don't come around anymore. It's your spirit. It ain't nothing about you negatively. It's your spirit that God is giving you that convicts them and scares them, because they don't want you to see or to tell them who God is and how great he has been to you. And he can be the same way to you and for you. So it's okay to be on the island by yourself, as long as you got God.
All right.
All things